Beat around the bush.
Hello, you're listening to the radio show Beat Around the Bush, presented by CEI and supported by Erasmus+. So today we're talking about EVS and experiences that we had during our project. First thing, what expectations did you have before coming to Bulgaria?
Actually, I knew just one story, and besides that, I told before about Bulgaria that there is rose oil and actually, what is the second one? And the seaside, of course. So the rose oil and seaside, and that's all. Because I never been here before, so I knew just a few things about Bulgaria. So actually, my expectation was I didn't know so much.
Yeah, me neither actually.
Yeah.
When I heard that I was accepted, I didn't really think much about Bulgaria.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the project itself.
Yeah.
The only thing that I actually knew was that they use kirillaca
Oh.
and that they shake the heads differently, because it's apparently well-known fact in the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those were the only things that I knew about Bulgaria.
But actually, you also haven't been here, right? Before the project.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. But what is your first impression when you came?
Actually, let's get back a little.
Oh.
Expectations about the project itself.
Okay.
You mentioned that you didn't know much about Bulgaria, but what about the project? What were your first thoughts about the project?
About the project?
Yeah.
Just in general. Actually, I remember when I was browsing the Facebook.
Yeah.
And suddenly I found advertisement about a volunteering program and about Bulgaria, and I was reading everything, and actually immediately I came to mind that I want to apply for this program because of the long term. So it was this program was for 1 year, and I was interested in that whether when I'm coming here, probably I'm going to get to know more about the country because it's 1 year. On the other hand, when I saw the main task or the project about the project, that is work with kids, I was interested in because my future plan is I want to be a teacher, and I was thinking it can be a good work experience, and a personal experience as well.
Yeah. Well, for me it was very different because the reason I actually applied was because I wasn't really sure about my studies. So I want to do something different, get out of my routine and work with something very different.
Yeah.
So my studies are with computers, it's programming. So I thought, okay, let's work with kids. When I found, well, actually my mom found the project, and so I applied. And I was thinking about maybe I would find out the reasons, like if I really want to work with computers, or maybe better is with kids, or maybe something different. And well, I think I found what I want to do, and it's all thanks to this project. Yeah, so the reasons for me to come here were really different, but I'm really glad I came. So uh, let's listen now to one recording of a volunteer who came here to Bulgaria a month ago. From Poland. She's volunteering in Kazanluk. And well, let's hear it from her.
My name is Marysia. I'm from Poland and I'm a volunteer in Kazanluk.
So you came here a month ago?
Yes, 10 of July.
Yeah. So what were your expectations for this project before you came to EVS to volunteer here in Bulgaria? What did you imagine Bulgaria to be like?
Well, I was once Bulgaria before.
Oh.
So, yes, so I knew, but I had very bad opinion because the first experience wasn't really nice. But I hope that this time will be better because I'm older, because the experience is different. The first impression was about specific thing I was here before. It was a sport camp, so it's difficult. So now I came with open mind about Bulgaria. And what about the project? I graduated studies. I graduated social rehabilitation, so I'm supposed to work with all the criminals, not nice teenagers, people who are addicted, people who are homeless, etc., etc. But there is not so many jobs in this area, and even if there are jobs, they prefer to give this job to men. So I need something different to do in my life, and I thought if I will do an EVS, I will gain some experience. So I chose the project because of the topic, not because of the country. I was accepted to two projects, one in Bulgaria, one in Spain, but the one here was more interesting about the topic. So that's why I'm here to learn how to be a journalist, social media, and all this stuff where, well, finding job is much easier.
Yeah. And how do you feel now? Did the country meet your expectations? Did the project meet your expectations?
I need to say I have much better opinion about Bulgaria now. It's not so bad place. It's very nice. There's a lot of beautiful nature everywhere. And what about the project? I like it. If I have to be honest, I like it. There we spend a lot of time for visiting. We visit Kazanluk, we visit places around Kazanluk, we visited Varna last week.
Yeah.
So I can complain. I love traveling, so I can travel 8 months around Bulgaria and write articles, and that's all what I do. And I can then write in my CV that I was a journalist for 8 months in Bulgaria. So that's amazing thing, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. So you're really excited for your volunteering period.
Yes, because it met my first expectations.
Yeah.
So I don't have reason to complain.
Great, thank you. Okay, like we heard, Marisia is happy with her project and is really excited. How did you feel when you came here? Were your expectations met about the country, about the project, the first few days? How did you feel?
Actually, I remember that I came in Stara Zagora, and it was really hot, and after that, yeah. So everything was new for me, the weather, the people, the city, and after that, I surprised about the accommodation that it was a hotel, and. To be honest, I was a little bit scary about everything because, as I mentioned before, that everything was new for me. For the first time, I flew actually alone, and after that, I was alone in the hotel, and I remember you came in after.
I think it was like 3 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning.
3 a.m. Oh my God! It's so it's the first shocked. So this is my first impression about Bulgaria and about the project, and after that, yeah, I was. After that, I was still scary about everything. So I remember totally.
Yeah, well, I landed in Sofia, I think it was about 10 in the evening,
Oh my God.
and I took a bus from midnight to 3, which was late. So my first impression about Bulgaria was that no one's in a hurry.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I was really happy when I came here and I met the people, the volunteers that were
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think half of my worries just dissipated when I met them, when I spoke with them. So I think in my case, I didn't have many expectations for the project itself. Just I wanted to do something different, get away from my life. But I was just really nicely surprised at how nice the place is at all of this.
Yeah.
Now let's start about talking about our experiences here, what we did. Starting, I think the first activity that we did seriously was going to schools,
Yeah, I remember.
meeting kids, and well, talking with them a lot. So, how do you feel about the kids in the schools? For example, music school. Did you enjoy working with them?
I think it was really good. I liked it very much because it was interesting to see sometimes that Bulgarian youngsters, as you said, the teenagers from music school, how do they look like the world, and after that, it was also interesting. For example, when I kept a presentation, and actually I didn't have any experience with it, and besides that, I learned a lot about Hungary as well, about myself, about Bulgaria as well. So everything was a good learning process, I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. While our purpose was to go there, teach kids about our countries, and probably encourage them to speak English and learn English.
Yes.
But I think we also learned a lot about our own countries.
Yeah.
For example, I remember one of the presentations we had to do was about national clothes. And I know I had to Google a lot about that because we have quite a few different types of clothes that are worn in different parts of Lithuania. So it's really a good opportunity to actually learn about the country itself that you came from, and also about other countries. Like I learned about Hungary, about
and other countries, yes,
others,
yes,
and about Bulgaria.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I also discovered how different the kids are. While they are so similar to the kids from my country, they are also different. For example, one of the things I was also always looking at is how they communicate between themselves, which is sometimes it's very different. At first, it was very strange for me how sometimes, especially between gypsy kids, they seem to shove each other harder, and it doesn't seem very nice. But I think maybe that's just the way they learn to grow up and do stuff.
Yeah, and I came up with other example about school presentation and stuff like that. When I was in when I went to Galabovo and I kept a presentation about European Union, because at the time we celebrated European Day, and it was a memorable moment that after the presentation I asked from the kids, do you have future plan? What are you going to do? And one of the girls told me that I want to be a volunteer like you.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was so, yeah, I surprised, but it was a, yeah, it was a moment.
Yeah.
A good moment.
Well, you made an impression, good impression on her, that
yeah,
means.
of course.
Well, after that, I think the thing that we do now a lot is having camps for the kids. So first, before we had summer camps, we had a spring camp. Do you
Oh, yeah.
remember it?
Yeah, I remember.
I remember that when we were talking about the spring camp, and we were here for more than, I think, for about half of our time already. And I had no idea what we're gonna do in the camp, because it's so different from the schools that we went to for the first 6 months of our time here. So I was really scared about the camps by that time, and well, we made a very nice plan.
Yeah.
Do you remember the schedule for it? But I feel like it wasn't that hard as I imagined at first.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think at first about the camp?
Scary about it, and I confused a little bit because until we went to different kind of schools, and after that, okay, spring camp, and after that 2 months summer camp. So oh my god, it's, yeah, the spring camp actually, I think the good
Warm up.
yeah, good warm up. Yes. And after that, the summer camp. It's a huge plan, and every single day we had to figure out what to do the next day. So yeah, I remember about the spring camp, and I was scary about the spring camp, but returning now, the spring camp was. Much more easier than summer camp, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
maybe because it's only 1 week.
Yes.
For me, I think the spring camp we were trying so hard to make it very fun because it's only 1 week.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're more at ease when we plan the weeks. We do more activity where we're just playing with the kids with no plans at all. But it's still very, very fun. I really enjoy the kids, especially some of them are so endearing.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yeah. But actually, at first, I didn't. Yeah. The kids, the play with kids, but actually at first, I remember I really scared that, oh my god, how to manage this situation, because they are Bulgarian, I am Hungarian, but the other volunteers speak in English. So it's I totally confused at first that, oh my god, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Talking about that, how is the language barrier? Do you feel it very hard, that it's hard to communicate with the kids?
Sometimes yes, sometimes oh my god, kako. So this is the first word that I immediately I learned, because sometimes the kids speaking in Bulgarian very fast, and I lost when they spoke something to me, but after that, actually, it depends on the situation, because sometimes I notice that my comprehension better than my speaking, because obvious the speaking is
Harder.
always is always harder, but is always more difficult, but yes, I think more or less we um, we found the common point when.
Yeah.
So sometimes we were speaking in English, and after that, okay, blah 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 in Bulgarian and English, and so yeah.
Yeah, I also noticed the same. For me, I understand. Mm, I think not as little as I did when I came first, of course. So sometimes I can actually understand everything that they say, or at least enough to understand what they want to ask me or what they want to tell me.
Mm,
But it's always a very hard thing to tell them something in Bulgarian so they would understand.
yeah, yeah.
And with a lot of kids, I feel like they are speaking with me in Bulgarian. I'm trying to say in very simple terms in English and try to communicate some ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes I need to find someone Bulgarian.
Yeah. And of course, but the language is also
Yeah,
always.
it's always
quite
very,
good, yeah.
very hard like that. But lately, the few last weeks, I think that now I'm getting even closer to the understanding.
Yeah. Me too.
So I think I'm hoping that I will not just leave the knowledge that I've learned here, the Bulgarian language, and continue to learning it later. Maybe, hopefully, I can come back next time and then I can communicate normally with Bulgarians. That
Yeah.
would be a very, very nice thing. Now, why don't we speak about the city and the organization? So, how do you like the city?
I think Stara Zagora is one of the livable cities, and actually I like living here. And besides it, I surprise the type of water. I think it's really good quality, and of course the season fruits. It's also the top one, and and geographically good location. I think Stara Zagora, because it's really close to the seaside, and Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria. So I satisfied.
Yeah,
What about you?
I remember when I came in September, one thing that I did all the time was eating a lot of fruits, because there are so many, especially in August and September, that you can buy in the market, and they're really good, really tasty. And I remember I had even problems that I ate too many a day. I had to stop myself. So this, like you mentioned, it's a very, very nice thing, especially when I came from kind of a bit north. We don't have that many fruits that we can actually grow in our country. So I took advantage of this part, and also the weather, like you mentioned, when we came, it was really hot, and well, I got my wish to come true because I have my birthday in October. And it was always my wish to have a birthday when it's a good weather outside, so that's my wish came true for the first time. And even the winter isn't as cold as back home for me, so I really, really love the weather. And also the size of the city is, for me, it's fantastic. It's not too big and not too small, and it's comfortable. Yeah, there are a lot of parks and very beautiful. And the organization, what do you have to say?
Microphone is bad.
Yeah, yours is bad.
So the organization, I think I'm also satisfied with the CEI organization, because Krasmira helped a lot at the beginning and during the project, and then and end of the project as well, and we got everything about we wanted to we wanted to ask her, and so besides that, so this is my first impression about the organization, and And yeah, I came to mind the other thing when we were in Sofia about the training, and
Yeah.
do you remember how many people complained about the
Oh,
organization?
yes.
Yes, and I surprised that. Oh, come on! I thought that it's the organization in general, everything is the same, but no, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not the same. The condition is not the same, and I'm really grateful about it, and so I can say just good things.
Yeah, I agree with you with like, totally. Like you mentioned, when we went to the training, we spent 2 months in Bulgaria before we went to the training. And yeah, compared to how many people weren't happy with their organizations or mentors or coordinators or someone else, I thought that we were very, very lucky to find
Yeah.
an organization that was so good.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Krasi,
Yeah.
our coordinator, she's a very nice person.
Mm.
Like, the first part that I noticed how lucky I am is when she picked me up from the bus station
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. in the morning when I came.
Okay.
And of course, before that, she gave me all the information how to get to the
Oh yeah.
from the airport to Sofia bus station, bus to take,
Yeah.
where to
Автогара.
yeah, and even where to exact place where to buy the ticket, which
Yeah.
is very thank you, Krasi.
Yeah, it's really
And
helpful,
even she's really helpful even until now, all the time, and also all the volunteers that we've met. I really like them.
yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So I can say that everyone who's listening to this and thinking about going on a EVS, especially if you're coming to Stara Zagora, then
Don't hesitate.
yes, never. Of course, don't have too many expectations, probably, because always having too many is bad. But when you don't have too many, you will be happily surprised.
Of course.
Now, about how we feel now, just before leaving Bulgaria. So, how do you feel?
My feeling it's kind of I arrived at the end of the project, so I don't feel any emptiness because I learned a lot. I had a lot of experience. I traveled a lot. So 1 year it's a long period, I think, and that's why I said that I arrived at the end of the project, and actually I'm ready to do something different, to take the whole things that I got them here, and because as I mentioned, I learned a lot and developed my skills. I got new skills as well, and yeah. So this is my feeling. at the
Yeah,
moment.
well, I'm feeling scared now because I'm leaving tomorrow.
Scare.
Well, kind of,
Yeah.
because I'm leaving. I built kind of a life here, and now I'm going back home where I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea what's gonna be happening now.
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm kind of afraid, but also I'm really happy about the time that I spent here.
Mm.
Like you mentioned, we learned a lot, and I feel like I've changed a lot.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm also afraid because of that, everything back home continued as it was, and I feel like I've changed, and now I'm trying to go back to my old life,
Yeah.
and it will never be the same. At least that's what I feel.
Yeah.
So I think that I've changed a lot from what I was before I came. Hopefully for the better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really glad that I came. I'm really thankful that I was chosen, that I met so many people here. And I really want to come back to Bulgaria, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I can imagine that in the future when I will be a mother and a grandmother. I can imagine that I'm going to tell the people about Bulgaria still, because it's come on, it's 1 year, it's one year experienced other country, so so I'm certain that I never going to forget it. So
Yeah, I will also remember it always.
yeah.
Okay, and now let's listen to an interview from an old volunteer who came back to Bulgaria after many years of being back home.
Oh.
So let's hear what we can expect from, well, our situation, kind of, and from coming back home.
My name is Dasha and I'm from Ukraine and I'm a former volunteer of Center for European Initiatives.
Yes, so we're talking about volunteering and EVS, and I'm interested to know about your experience about all the volunteering period from before you came. So, did you have any expectations for the volunteering here and for the project?
Yeah, okay, I see. Well, actually, it was very hard for me to have any expectations because in Ukraine, EVS program is not that popular, and I found it like absolutely accidentally, and I didn't understand almost anything about that. And I don't know, it was just like, this yoga thing when you try not to expect anything, like then to just accept everything for good. So not really like no expectations, just like waiting for it to start.
So when you came, did you experience some kind of culture shock? Like, if you didn't have many expectations, then you didn't have this, that your expectations weren't met, but...
No, I didn't have cultural shock.
Oh.
I was missing my friends and family for like sometimes I was missing them, of course, but no cultural shock at all. I was absolutely okay. I mean, our cultures are not that different. They're quite similar. The life in Ukraine is quite similar. The culture is quite similar. People are quite similar. Even the language is similar. So maybe this is why.
And what about the whole project? How long was it?
It was 9 months, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 9 months. But
Yeah.
I stayed for a month more just to
Yeah.
spend time here.
So how did you like your projects?
It was great. Actually, I didn't expect that. I mean, it was very different and brought up many emotions. And till now, sometimes when I'm remembering some things of my project, I can start crying literally. Because we were working in schools and kindergartens and orphanages. We had children camps. So I mean, the things they were so different, and the experiences were so different, and it brought up so many I have so many memories now. Like I've done so much different things. Like after it, it seemed to me like I can do whatever, with kids. Like after what we've tried here.
Okay, and well, you already went back home and stayed home for a while, so what I'm interested in is about the experience when you go home. First of all, just before you leave, I'm finishing my project really soon, so I'm thinking what to expect.
Oh, well, I think it's very individual. I mean, like, what to expect? I mean, what I really meet in life when I see, like, people who finish EVS, they do actually feel a bit lost when they come back home because, like, you gave up everything in your own country and then you come back to your country and you have to start everything from zero, because you are not working there, you're not communicating with people there, and then you come back and you have to figure out what to do. So I guess like the best thing would be like to start to prepare yourself before going home. Maybe try to find some activities which you can do like immediately when you come back home. I don't know, anything like some summer school, I don't know, some small job to do, because if you just like come back like that and you have nothing to do there, it might be really hard for you emotionally. This is from my experience and from what I saw in other people. Well, but it depends, it's all individual.
Yeah. How long has it been since you finished your EVS?
I think it's from 5 years.
So what have you done now after your EVS?
Oh, that might take a long time to describe.
We have time.
Okay, so first I started with some office jobs, some routine stuff. Like I was a office administrator, I was a business assistant. Some companies I didn't like that. I was never into routine work. And then suddenly I get proposed to work in a children camp with kids, and that's how I started to work with kids again, and never stopped since then. And I was like getting more and more into like non-formal education, alternative education. I was working in children camps. Was working in schools. I was doing chemical shows. Chemical like scientific seminars for children, scientific quests for children. I was working as a main teacher for children in alternative schools, as a subject teacher, many things.
Yeah. So in all, the EVS experience really helped you in life a lot.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, I think it happened like a fate or miracle. I don't know because, like when I found this project in the internet, I was not planning anything like that. I found it absolutely accidentally. Actually, it's a very funny story. I don't know if Krasimira remembers that, but in the beginning, it was my best friend who found that project and who wanted to apply, and I was just like, I'll apply with you, and but it really like changed my life in the way that I've started doing the things, and I figure out that these things are mine. This is what I'm supposed to do. Like working with kids is like totally my thing, and I continue doing it till now. And I have like big plans for that for future. And these plans actually are also connected with the work I've done, my EVS and the place where I've been, because my idea is to open a private alternative school. Well, I dream to do it in Stara Zagora. I understand that maybe it will be more rational to do it in Sofia, and many people are telling me this. But I got like very attached to the city when I lived here, and this is why like my main idea is to do it here. And from what I know, like alternative education is not yet that popular in Bulgaria. Most people they don't even know what it is like. And though, like for example, in Ukraine, you already have like alternative school almost like in every yard, and so I hope to bring that experience here and to try to do it here. I hope that people will be like ready and open enough to accept it.
Yeah, great. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
It's nice having you here. So, thank you everyone for listening.